violent rhetoric from the radical left lunatics. The President of the United States posted that on his social media. It is an AI-generated video calling Russell Vogt the Reaper, and then telling Democrats, here comes the Reaper. For anyone who's not following who the Reaper is, he's referring to the Grim Reaper. And you know, that's a mystical character that ushers you off to your death. So without any ambiguity, the president just put a video on his social media platform, on his own account, calling for the death of Democrats. And how are they going to die, you ask? By way of his own top advisor, Russell Vogt. But at the same time that he was posting that on his social media, something else was happening in Washington, D.C. Watch this clip. That happened within hours of that post by the president. Now, what was the video I just showed you? I'm going to tell you. And when I tell you, it's going to terrify you. It should alarm you. It should shake you to your core. But first, make sure you click like on the video, leave your thoughts in the comments, and if my perspective gives you a different insight than you had before, or at least another perspective that you hadn't considered, then make sure you subscribe to my channel. So back to the clip I just showed you. Let me explain what this video is. There's a group called FLARE, F-L-A-R-E. It stands for For Liberation and Resistance Everywhere. Starting May 1st of this year, they lawfully acquired a permit and set up some tents outside of Union Station in Washington, D.C. And these tents were part of an anti-Trump protest where they were calling for the impeachment, conviction, and removal of Donald Trump. Now, when they started their protest in May, nobody had ever heard of them. Not a lot of people even knew they were there. But from May until now, they've gained steam. As people pass by their tents, they ask them to sign individualized letters calling on their congressperson to join the impeachment movement. Over these last 6 months, FLARE has started building relationships with congresspeople. They started working with a coalition of other organizations and calling for the impeachment, conviction, and removal of Donald Trump. Their call for impeachment has grown louder and louder and louder, and that's because they're out there doing the work at Union Station. Now, fast forward to now. They're very well known. A lot of people know they're out there. Their social media presence is much larger, and they've personally hand-delivered thousands upon thousands of letters to congresspeople calling for the impeachment, conviction, and removal of Donald Trump. And then in the wee hours of the morning, today, October 3rd, a pre-dawn raid by the Park Police and federal marshals happened on their tents. They showed up armed. They handed the people that were in the tent at the time a letter saying that they were in violation of their permit and they were going to revoke it. They gave them no warning and no time. They were armed officers who told them to leave the tents. They put police tape all around the 3 tents. They brought in 3 flatbed trucks and they took everything out of their tents and the tents themselves, disassembled it all, put them in the trucks, and drove off before the sun even came up. That's called theft. They have the right to revoke their permit. They don't have a right to take their stuff. That's called stealing. If I have a permit that I gained lawfully and you want to revoke it, then you have to give me notice, usually 24 hours, to get my stuff off the grounds. They gave them 1 minute. And if there is a violation of your permit, the typical protocol is to get a warning, some kind of written notice that you're in violation and the opportunity to bring it up to compliance. They didn't get that. So what does this have to do with the AI video, Here Comes the Reaper? It has everything to do with the AI video of the Reaper, because this was an anti-fascist, established anti-Trump protest that was successfully gaining momentum with Congress members to call for the impeachment, conviction, and removal of Donald Trump. And if there's one thing Donald Trump hates more than anything else, it's people who don't like Donald Trump. They were vocal. They were right down the street from the Capitol. They were gaining influence. And after the indictment of James Comey, after the cancellation of Jimmy Kimmel, after the calling for the firing of other comedians, after the firing of MSNBC hosts, and now an AI video in the wee hours of the morning calling for the death of Democrats, this removal of a lawful protest is par for the course for Donald Trump. Pun intended, because he's probably golfing while I say this. It's par for the course for him to send out his goons and destroy an anti-Trump protest that's been around for 6 months and steal their stuff. That was intimidation. He was sending a message. The message is the same message he sent to the peace vigil outside the White House when he had it destroyed in one fell swoop. This message is the same message that they've been sending since January 20th, and it gets louder and louder and louder and louder every day. The message is obey in advance. The message is comply, do not resist. The message is I'm from the government, I'm here to help you. That's their message, that's been their message. Here's the thing. Our only reply, the only reply we should be giving them is this: I will not obey in advance. I will not comply. I do not want your help, and I demand democratic representation. Because you've heard me say it 100 times. Be prepared to hear me say it 100 times more. This is all a slow path towards the 2026 election. Stephen Miller just stood in Memphis yesterday and said that he and the government, no matter the people's wishes, no matter the mayor's wishes, no matter the democratically elected officials that represent the area's wishes, no, Stephen Miller and him alone unleashed the police to clean up Memphis.
The guns and that in this room, you are unleashed. The handcuffs that you're carrying, they're not on you anymore, they're on the criminals. And whatever you need to get it done, we're going to get it done. They think that they're hardcore. We are so much more hardcore than they are. And we have the entire weight of the United States government behind us.
Listen, I can list example after example after example of how this fascist authoritarian regime is stepping up its efforts to silence dissent. But I don't think you need any more examples. My only question to you is, do you need any more alarms? Because the alarms have been ringing. When they come into Union Station this morning and unlawfully stole the tents and equipment of people who were lawfully protesting, this was just another alarm, but boy, is it a big one. My only question for you is, will you get up and join the resistance? Donald Trump doesn't follow rules. MAGA doesn't follow rules. Project 2025 is in full effect, and it doesn't follow any of the rules. And so I say to you, there's one thing I know that doesn't follow the rules either. It's a revolution.